soldiers on the table march in line. Painted shields and swords, they shine so fine. Dice roll like thunder, sealing fate. In this battle of ours, let's not be late. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Oh. Kings and castles rise where soda cans stood. Mountains made of books, it's a cardboard.
All right, hello again, everybody. This is, you guessed it, Derek, and I am coming back at you with some Wargaming in miniature video. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be working on my cuirassier this morning. And I do have some town sectors with walls and fences sitting outside. What I wound up doing was spraying them black. So, so they're primed, but they're wet. So I'm going to let it dry for an hour or so. I'll bring them in, and then we'll start doing the pasting. And maybe I won't paste until after I paint the stone walls and the fences. And I think they're the last ones I need to do. Actually, that's not true. I got one more that I'm going to do, which is going to have a water texture on it, because I'm going to use it in conjunction with a mill. And I have okay, now this one needs to be filed just a little bit more. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I use a hand file, a pretty sizable hand file. I think it's a 8-inch one or whatever, and it might be longer than that. Yeah, it's an 8-inch hand file, and I use the flat one. I got a whole set of files. Some of them are rounded, some of them are flat, some of them have triangular shapes or whatever. But I only use this one because it's got the biggest working surface on it, and I could have just went and bought one file, but it was actually cheaper to buy a full set. And then what I do is, on all my miniatures that have bases that need to stand up, I drag it across the file and get rid of all the little burrs and nicks and stuff like that, so that the figure can stand up on its own when I glue it down onto a base. Yeah. That one is just having all kinds of problems. It'll stand, but it's got that little lean to it. Okay, so now with the cuirassier, I got 2 packs of cuirassier, and they are in different poses. One is with their swords right up along their shoulders, so they're just holding their swords up in a ready position, right? Just as a oh shoot. Okay, let me lock that in. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of in the way. All right, and you got the sword up on his shoulder, right? But then you've got these others that have no right arm, right? He just has like a socket in the shoulder, and then we've got these arms holding the sword, right? So I got to glue those on, glue them together, and but before I do any of that, I want to go through all of these models, horses included, and I want to trim off any excess little flash or burrs or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to shed light on it. There we go. And I'm going to put my 3.5 glasses on. There we go. And then I'm just going to clean up each of these figures. This takes a bit of time. I still haven't received... Oh, okay, I've got a little bit of news for you. I haven't received the commission miniatures for the American War of Independence. Nope. American Civil War. The epic scale stuff. He said he was putting in the mail a couple of days ago. And it probably will be here by Friday. That's kind of what I'm guessing. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to be putting my personal projects off to the side, and I'm going to work on his commission. But it sounds like he's not in any hurry. But just because you're not in a hurry as a customer doesn't give me, in my opinion, that doesn't give me permission to ignore you. But it does give me a little bit of breathing room where I don't have to rush. Well, I appreciate that because I don't like rushing on any miniature painting project, even my own, especially my own. That's one reason why I don't use any kind of speed paint. Contrast paint, speed paints. There's two reasons, really. One is because the colors are never correct. And secondly, because the consistency of the paint is so thin, they have a tendency to rub off of your model very easily. And I understand you'll want to varnish your model and protect your paint job. I do that anyway with regular paints, regular acrylics. But with the speed paints, the paint will rub off before you even get to that step. You got to be extra careful not to handle the model or rub accidentally against the model or something like that, because the paint will rub off. Guaranteed, 100%. And I basically hate that. I hate that for anybody, myself included. Does it make paint? And then I think about it and I was like, does it make painting the model faster? Because that's what it's designed to do. And the answer is yes. You get your models done very fast. But with that speed, you sacrifice quality. you're not going to win a golden demon with speed paints. And if you do, well, actually you can, because almost all the golden demons that I've seen are fantasy or sci-fi, so you don't have to have the correct paint. And they're almost always big models, like, you know, a good baseball size model or whatever, softball size. You very rarely see a goblin winning a golden demon. You'll see dragons or ogres or giants or a squad of space marines. Or some kind of tyrannid monster or something like that. But I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so, and that's me, guys. If you haven't been to any of my videos, that's what I do. I start with one thing and I drift off into another subject. And sometimes I never make it back to my original point. But in this one, what was I talking about? Painting. Speed painting. Commissions. A commission coming in. So yeah, I've got some American Civil War commissions supposedly coming in. I don't, just because the guy says he's sending me stuff doesn't mean he actually sent me this stuff. When it shows up at my doorstep, then I'll know he's serious. Until then, I'm just going to continue on with my regular painting process. Okay, my second subject, my second thing I want to say is I have companies out there that communicate with me. You know, I get hundreds of emails. I get so many, not just from companies, just in general. I get so many emails in my inbox. I'm finding it almost impossible to keep up with them. You know, I go through there and I have to pick and choose which emails I want to reply to or respond to. And then sometimes I overlook somebody's email that would have been important, you know, but because I have like hundreds of them, I don't have enough hours in the day to read all my emails. I need a secretary. You know, I need to start a two-man show for my eBay store / painting process or something. But I don't make enough money through my eBay store to warrant hiring or teaming up with a second person. Okay, well that's not the discussion. So I received a message through eBay itself because I basically pull up my eBay homepage, and if it says I've got a message or if I've got a package that needs to go out, that's the very first thing I see. And so all I do is just open it up. I see if I've got a new message or if I've got a package that needs to go out. And then I will either respond to that message or I will pack up and ship out that package. So I have a lot easier way, or I should say I have a lot, yeah, I guess it's easier to keep track and keep my eBay messages clear, because I only get like 2 or 3 eBay messages a day, not 100 per day. So So those are almost always clear and up to date. And the guy that contacted me about the commission, he contacted me through my eBay Messenger. That's great. That's perfect. But I've also received standard, through my Gmail emails from companies and trying to get me to review their product on my YouTube account. Right? They contact me. Like I had one company say, we've got these dice. They come in like a designer tin, and they're beautiful, and all that stuff. And then the greatest product in the world. Will you please do a review on them? And of course, my answer is yes. Of course, I'd be glad to do that. But I'm not going to buy your product if I'm not normally going to buy your product. Like as an example, if I buy some forged in battle 15 millimeter World War II guys for my own personal, collection, then before I open it and use it for my own personal army, I'll take some time to review the miniatures, get to know the miniatures, and show them off on the channel as a what I call what's in the box. It's actually what's in the B, because it could be bag, box, or blister. But basically it's what's in the box. And then I'll open up the packaging, I'll lay out the miniatures, we'll do some close-ups, we'll zoom in on them, and we'll look at them. And I would do that with any product that I would normally buy, or that I've already bought and it's in my collection, and I'm gonna, or if I have it not in my personal collection, but if I've already bought it and I'm planning on selling it, like I bought it from one of my distributors or something, and I have it on my inventory, then I might do a what's in the box video for that. But I'm going to tell you, what's in the box videos, they're time consuming. They're very time consuming. If I only did what's in the box videos, I could probably do 3 or 4 videos a day. But that's not all I do. I do, as you can see right here, I do all kinds of things. I paint, I build terrain, I work on miniature rules. I'm running Pendragon every Thursday night, starting next Thursday. But in the past, I had been running all different kinds of games throughout, whatever week it is. So I got this company that wanted me to review their dice. And it came in a tin, like a collector tin. And I was like, yeah, send me the dice and I'll be glad to roll them a few times and show them off and do do a product review, I would be happy to do that. I've heard nothing back from them. I had another company say, hey, we've got these, what were they? They were miniature figures. I don't even remember. It was a while ago. They said, we'll send you a pack of these miniatures, review them, tell us what you think, make a video. All we're asking is that you make a video and share your opinion, your honest opinion. We're not asking you to only say good things. We want you to share what you really think about our figures, because we're confident enough in our stuff that it would be good or whatever. And they would also like to get feedback from someone that might be using their figure. Oh, okay. We have a plume on the front of the helmet, and we have a plume on the side of the helmet. I knew that. I knew that already. Okay, this is a bugler. Okay, these guys are actually cleaning up fairly easily. They have a few burrs here and there, but not really any mold lines, I'm noticing. And there's a few mold imperfections, like under the saddle. Oh, it's not straight, so if I was to put it on a horse, it wouldn't sit properly. So I got to get in there and cut that out. That's just extra lead that didn't need to be in there. So I had like 4 companies contact me, and I've always said yes, because I love making videos, for one thing. That's the first thing. I really love making these videos, but if they're going to send me the product with no cost to me, then I would feel a little obligated to in return, to give them a review. It doesn't have to be good, because if I get, like, let's say I get these dice in and they only roll 20s or something, they never roll anything else, well, I'm going to say they're crap dice, and that's what I'll tell. Or actually, I won't say they're crappy. I'll say they're perfect for someone who's trying to cheat. These are great weighted dice, because they roll the 20 every time. So I'll give my honest opinion of the dice or whatever product that gets sent to me. But I had no faith that any of these companies will follow through. But as a person that struggles with reading my own emails, I find it hard to believe that somebody at one of these companies would take the time to send me an email asking me to review one of their products if they had no intention of sending me the product. Okay, now why does this guy not have a plume? This guy does, but this guy doesn't. Huh. Okay, these cuirassiers don't have plumes on their side. I wonder why that is. Oh no, now I'm going to have to do some research on these guys before I start painting them. Okay, but the no plume standard bearer is going to go with the no plume. Now, both my musicians have plumes. And I'm talking about the side plume. You know, the little red plume that they usually have. I think it's red. Okay, I'm going to have to do some research. One of these is supposed to be the 8th Regiment, and the other one is supposed to be the 11th Regiment. Yeah. Both of them part of the 11th Division, part of Kellerman's Corps. Okay, so the reason why I bring it up, I'm backing up. The reason why I'm bringing this up is I got a package in the mail yesterday, international. And I was like, what the hell? I don't have any international orders out. My mind was racing. I was like, I wonder what this could be. You know, maybe War Bases is replacing my missing bases or something. But the box was way too big for that. So I was like, oh, it can't be that. What? I wonder what it is. Did I put an order in like months ago and then I totally forgot about it and it's just now showing up? You know, or something like that. And I'm like, no, none of that. And so when I opened the package, there were 3 buildings in it. And then I remembered that company had sent me an email asking me to review their product. And I was like, oh crap. One of the companies actually followed through. It's they're plastic medieval buildings. I have made them in the past. I might even have them in a tub somewhere with all my 28 millimeter buildings. Because when I was doing 28 millimeter Hail Caesar and black powder and all that, I had gone through and made and collected a bunch of buildings. And medieval buildings, a lot of them will work for countryside buildings like a farm, like a barn. A medieval barn will work as a Napoleonic barn. It can. It's got a thatched roof though, but that's all right. It's just a building, you know, and I saw that they were a good price, and so I ordered them, and I kind of like them a lot actually. I even used them in my Quatre Bras game that I ran at NashCon a few years ago. Okay. That looks like a burr, but it's really just... I'm going to cut it anyway. because it's under the saddle blanket. You're never going to see it anyway. Okay. So they sent me these buildings. I've got them in a box over there on the table. They're medieval, but they're not any of the ones that I have already purchased and built. These are brand new, never before seen. I didn't even know they made them. That's a good. They might be new, or they might be just something that I've never seen before. Because I bought the original buildings through one of my distributors, and apparently my distributor doesn't carry their entire line. He only carries like 5 or 6 of the buildings, and those are the 5 or 6 that I bought. But when this girl sent me this email asking if I want to review her buildings on my YouTube channel, I went to the website because I didn't recognize the website name because I haven't never ordered on it. And I thought it was just like some of these others. I just thought it was going to be some bullshit. But this was a website dedicated specifically to those buildings. And I was like, oh, they've got their own website, which I didn't know. And I was like, oh, okay, so let me look around in this website. And there I saw a bunch of buildings that I hadn't seen before. And some of them were castles, but they sent me a tower. It's got to be, I don't know how tall it is, 12 inches or more. I don't know. It's still in the packaging. He sent me a smaller tower, like a tall tower and a keep, and then they sent me a wall piece. So what I'm going to do over the next few days is I think I'm going to record building them. Doing an open box. So basically just reviewing what comes in the package. But then also actually constructing them and then painting them. So this company, tabletop miniatures or tabletop terrain or something like that, they're going to get their money's worth. So you can expect that content in the next week or two. Okay, I put my blade down a little bit too soon. Excuse me. Now the shoulder socket holes can't be that deep. This socket joint is like super long. Like I was gonna pin it. Yeah, no. Yeah, that guy doesn't even have, I mean, it's just a cup. It's not like a hole. Where this guy actually has a hole. Yeah, I'm still gonna have to trim it, I guess. Even on the one that's got the hole. Okay, now this guy's got a different arm pose. Okay, there's a couple of them with bent elbows and a couple of them with straight elbows. Whoa. And if you've seen any movies or Napoleonic historical like documentaries or whatever, they don't hold their sword like this. They hold it like that. So it almost looks like, they've got their wrist, their knuckles are up, and the sword, if it was curved, like if it was a light cavalry, the curve of the sword would go down where, like a arch upward, and then the point would be down. These guys are heavy cav, and heavy cav all have straight swords, like a broadsword. So when they turn it over like this, it's still going straight out, but the blade is actually up. I don't know why that is. Like, they'll ride and they'll have their sword like that, and I don't know why they wouldn't just hold it like over their head or whatever. They hold it like that. I don't know. Maybe it's a way to balance themselves on the horse while it's charging forward. I should probably look into that just because it's kind of a topic of curiosity. Why did they hold their sword point up? I guess so that when they strike, they could just lower it. Um, I don't know if you guys know anything about the SCA. I fought a lot in the SCA. I mean, I fought for over 20 years in the SCA. I'm really good at it. Let me rephrase that. I was really good at it. Um, I've probably lost a step. I don't know because I haven't fought in like over 2 years. But when I fought almost predominantly sword and shield. And one of the poses that I fought with was shield up here, right? So you got the shield across my body. Actually, it's more angled outward at like 45 degrees. I don't know. I don't know if you can see me or not because the way the camera is and the way I'm leaning forward and all that. But my shield would be not flat against my body, but more of a 45 degrees out, right? And then I would take my sword and I would rest the tip of my sword on my shield, the top of my shield, or close to it. And I would raise my hand high above my head. So what happened was, of course, my wrist is in the same pose as these guys charging, but more back over my head, not straight forward. And so what I could do, I don't know if you can see this, my glasses doesn't allow me to see this, but what I can do is I would have my sword, and I'm just going to use this as the top of my shield, even though that's not really the shield, because my handle would be here, but never mind. This is the top of the shield. I could take my sword from a high guard position like this, and all I would have to do is drop my hand. I would just let gravity do all the work. I would drop my hand and I would flick the blade forward. Pop, like this, you know. And that was like my 9 out of 10 of my kills came from that strike. While dropping your sword like that, dropping your hand, you can also drop your shoulder. And a lot of people, rightly so, but a lot of people will watch your shoulder to see where you're going to strike. And knowing that my opponent is watching my shoulder, I would let them predict where I'm striking a couple of times. I would goad them or bait them into thinking that when I drop my shoulder, I'm actually striking low, like around the waist or maybe the leg. So they would automatically think or predict that when I drop my shoulder, not just my wrist, but when I drop my shoulder, they're immediately, because what it does is it over accentuates the attack more than is necessary. And then about the third time in, because I'll do it, I'll be aggressive, and I would do that a couple of times, not even wanting to hit them. Just all I'm doing is training them to believe that when I drop my shoulder, I'm striking low. And then about the third time, or once I feel like they've taken the bait, I'll drop my shoulder and strike him in the head. I'll also use my eyes to look low. I don't need to see where I'm striking because I have enough spatial awareness to know if I'm looking dead center, like around their belt line, I can still see their head. I can see their shield, I can see their sword, I can see, shoot, I could probably see their feet. And then I'll drop my shoulder. I'll look down. Well, first of all, I'll look down on purpose. Like I'll look down and then I'll drop my shoulder and I'll strike low. And that my opponent will instinctively think, man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's telegraphing his shots. He's He's telling me he's going to strike low every time he strikes low. And then that's where I get you. I look low, I drop my shoulder, and then I strike you in the head. Because you took your shield and you lowered it down in anticipation to block my sword, exposing your head. Exposing your head. Okay, sorry. I don't know where you, if you know where that came from. We're going to line up on opposite sides of the field. We're going to take turns shooting at each other until everyone's dead. And we're going to fight and we're going to win. Yeah, I understand that. But what happens if the guy, what if somebody gets shot? Well, if they get shot, then we will remove them to the rear, remove whatever body part was infected, and then we will fight and we will win. But what do I have to protect myself? Well, you got your government issued t-shirt or jacket. That'll protect some. Oh goodness. Yeah, that's all good. But what if I get shot in the head? Let's not worry about logistics. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost have that whole video memorized. And I'm sure I'm mixing it up, messing up some words. And I haven't seen that video in years, but it's hysterical. You should look it up. It was by the Ramsey brothers. They did a video called How the South Lost the War. And it is frickin' hysterical. Okay, so now I guess I got to start gluing stuff. I don't think I want to glue any arms on until I know that these guys will fit on a horse. And I say that because some of these guys have some really narrow saddle blankets. And I don't want them sticking up like 20 feet into the air. That guy's going to fight and he's going to win. Oh yeah, that looks good. Yeah, if I just jam it down there, it'll fit. But I don't want to do any of the jamming, you know, the scrunchering, if that's a word, if I have an arm glued on, because I could easily just pop that arm off. So I want to make sure I get, because by pushing them down onto the horse, it kind of spreads the saddle blanket out a little bit. Little bit. The guys with the swords up on their shoulders, that's part of the mold. There's no worries there at all. I can just push them down onto the horse. Now I could glue these guys down onto the horse and then glue the arms on, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to glue the arms on before I glue them onto their horse. I don't know. Maybe I should do it the other way around. It might be better to glue these bodies onto the horses and then glue the arms. I'm starting to lean that way. But the problem I was going to have or anticipated was the arms falling off, or the weight of the arm kind of causing the sword to dip. But what I could do is, once they're glued onto their horses, and then I go to glue the arms, I could always lay the horse down if I needed to. Okay, this horse is all screwy. Did I not clean this horse? I got some loose flare here. Nope. Yeah, this horse feels like he's drunk. Oh yeah, there we go. And with my old glue, the glue that's thickening up, it might not hold it in place as quickly as if it was new glue. But I'm going to use the old glue anyway. You never know. You just never know. Not so much. Okay. Get you down on that horse. Push you down on that horse. There should be 10 of them with their arms needing. Yep, there we go. One more. How about you? You look like you need a rider. See, the backs all look really good. It's that front part where the pistols are at. Oh, what? That looks excellent. Perfecto. Okay, so all these others should go on easily. What I was planning on doing was just getting them into the right position, then taking them off. gluing their arm on and then attaching them afterwards. But I think I'm just going to attach them to their horse from the jump. Okay. Okay, this doesn't want to... There we go. So now I'm waiting for the slow drip down to the neck. So I'm watching Andor, right? I'm all caught up to, I was about to say issue, up to episode 6. So, um, I know that there's a lot of people complaining, saying that this is not Star Wars. This is just some sci-fi space opera. Um, which I can see their point, but I can also tell you it is Star Wars. There's no Jedi. There's no Sith, but the Empire and the Rebellion exist. You know, or actually the Rebellion doesn't really exist yet. It's in its infancy. But it's coming along. I'm going to try not to spoil it for you. I'm not going to use anything, any names or places or events, or try not to. But they're releasing it in 3-episode blocks. So, like last week, 3 episodes. This week, 3 episodes. Next week, 3 episodes. I think it's going to be 12 episodes. So 4 groups of 3. So in 1 month you're getting your entire 12 episode series. I like and dislike this. What the heck? Okay. One reason why I like it is because I get it faster. You know, because I want it now. But I dislike it because I know after 1 month it's going to be gone. Completely. This is the series finale. Because my understanding is that Andor is kind of like the precursor to Rogue Squadron, Rogue One, or whatever it was called. Um, it's like the build up or the lead up to that movie. And not being a Star Wars aficionado, like if you showed me on the screen BBY4, that means something to the geeks out there. It doesn't mean anything to me. But I do now know, only because I've seen videos, uh, video reviewers and stuff like that. They have revealed to me that BBY is a time stamp. The number is how many years, and the BBY, and there's an ABY, and the BBY is before the Battle of Yavin, and the ABY is the after the Battle of Yavin, because apparently the Battle of Yavin is the defining moment of the rebellion, which I kind of knew a little bit, but not really. You know, I'm looking for characters, and I'm looking for story, and I'm looking for excitement, space battles. I mean, it is called Star Wars. It's not called Ground Wars, or it's not called Espionage Wars, or whatever. And when I originally saw that they were doing a series called Andor, which is a couple of years ago, I guess, my mind immediately went to, what planet is that? What planet is Andor? And the TV series Andor is one of the characters' names. The main character, I mean, of course, because his name's on the TV series. His name is Andor, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's neat. But that just tells you I don't know anything about the Star Wars universe. So having Ahsoka be boring as hell, I I I just couldn't get into it. I don't like that character. I never liked her. Even from the Clone Wars, I hated Ahsoka. I thought she was a retard. Yes, I said it. Wow, I thought I cleaned these guys up. This guy's got like this little burr on his glove. I gotta get it off of here. Oh, that's good. And then, so that series was so boring. I was like, man, that's like not even a story I even care about. And then Obi-Wan came out, and I was thinking, oh man, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's going to be cool. No, it was boring as hell. So I'm like, Star Wars, what are you doing? Why are you making all these boring TV series? The Mandalorian came out, and I'm like, it's going to be another boring TV series. But then it wound up being pretty exciting. I kind of dug the Mandalorian. I thought it was kind of a cool struggle that he was going through and all that. And I was like, okay. You piqued my interest. I watched Mandalorian. Then the Acolyte came out, or Ahsoka. Ahsoka came out, and the Acolyte came out. And I'm like, I cannot watch this garbage. First of all, Ahsoka is stupid. It's a stupid series. And then the Acolyte was even worse. The Acolyte was kind of opened my eyes to realize that Disney had really gotten their hands into Star Wars, and they're changing it up and making it all about whammons and throwing in their DEI and their ESG and LGBTQ, and they're basically making everybody rainbow powered. I gave up. I said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to watch any more of this dribble. And then Andor came out. Actually, season 2 came out. So season 2 came out for Andor. And some of these video pundits, we'll call them, the ones that I trust, the ones that see the failures of DEI or DIE, as I like to call it, they said Andor season 2 was actually pretty good. So I was like, oh, okay, really? Is it really? So I went back and I watched season 1. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. I watched the entire season in like 2 or 3 nights. I binge watched it, knowing that I did that because I wanted to get into season 3. I'm sorry, season 2. And so like I said, I binge watched it. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought Andor season 1 actually had some pretty cool merits to it. Not perfect, but what else? What is right? Not everything's perfect. And with these guys saying that season 2 was better, or you know, a good series, I was looking forward to season 2. Um, my opinion of season 2 is still out. My judgment, I should say. My judgment of season 2 is still out, still pending, but it's not as good as I had hoped. Still good, don't get me wrong. It's way better than The Acolyte or Ahsoka. I like the character, the main guy. I like all the espionage that's going on and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. But that's the problem with it. Yes, I understand they're trying to tell a story about how the rebellion came to be. And so, well, okay, I see how you're going to be over there. Oh, this is the horse that's drunk. I'm going to fix that. Okay, there we go. No. No. Okay. But it doesn't. So when these people talk about how it's not Star Wars, I understand what they're saying, because they didn't sign up to watch Hogan's Heroes, or I should say, any of those. It's okay. Let me say this. It is very, very, very World War II, Nazi Germany, occupied France. Story, right? Even in this last episode, you had the French resistance. They have a different name. I'm not going to spoil it, but they're speaking in French, and they're wearing berets, like little French berets. It's 100% the French. And I'm okay with World War II references or similarities, and the Germans, I mean the Empire, in the video in the first couple of videos, they're driving around in these vehicles, these Imperial vehicles that are an exact 1-to-1 to German transport vehicles in World War II. One of the vehicles that this officer was in and he had a driver with him and stuff like that. It looked almost exactly like a Kubel wagon. I know you guys know what that is because you're into big historical stuff. But basically, you take the wheels off of a Kubel wagon and you let it be like a land speeder traveling across the grain, the croplands. Um, and there's a bunch of leftists out there that say, oh, they're so brave, you know, putting a spotlight on fascism and uh, tyranny of fascists and how our country is just like the empire. And I'm like, what country are you living in? Oh, that's right. They're leftists. They live in their own bubble. The U.S. is not fascist. It might have a little bit of authoritarian. Uh, it might have a little bit of authoritarian, but we're not fascist. Not like World War II Germany. We're not Nazis. I know you want to call, I guess we'll call it the Trump America. You want to call Trump's America like Nazi and fascist and stuff, but in reality, Trump's America is post-rebellion, not current fascism. The empire was the last regime. You know, think of Biden and all of their uh, policies. They're the ones that canceled you if you didn't take a medical treatment. Trump never did that. They're the ones that locked you in your house, told you couldn't go to your church. That was the empire. And or I should say, what does all the Trump Republicans, okay, first of all, it's in their name, Republic. Republicans. The rebels in Star Wars want to bring back the Republic, the Senate. You know, not get rid of it, and that's what our current government wants as well. Okay, but my point about the whole series, not the demented people that comment about it. Like myself, I guess I'm demented. Um, it's not a show about Star Wars or space battles or lightsabers or anything like that. That's not what this show is about. This is about espionage, spies, lying, secret meetings. That's what Andor is about. And if you're into that, then you're going to love the series. If you're not into that, if you're expecting lightsabers and blasters and space battles, then you've come to the wrong show. Now, do they have blasters and space battles? Well, yes and no. They do have blasters, and some of the rebels do have to fight their way out of a situation sometimes. But that's really not what the show's about. And they really make it a point. And this is, I don't know if I like this about the show. It might be subliminal messaging, but they really make it a point that they have no problem killing each other if it furthers their goal. Their like this one guy, I'm not gonna say who it is, but there's this one character. He's not a senator, I don't think. I think he's just really wealthy. And he believes in the cause, and he's financing the resistance, because there's not really a rebellion. So he's financing the resistance, and in the show, he's been doing it for like 2 years. And because he's not getting anything in return from that, it's starting to eat into his money. He's starting to lose financial power or whatever. He's not able to make ends meet anymore, or, so he tells somebody in the resistance, hey, I'm going to have to pull back on my financing because I can't stay afloat. I'm starting to, lose all my money. I'm still on your side and I'm still going to help, but just not at the level that I was. And the first thing that goes through their mind is, okay, we got to kill that guy. All right, he's no longer an asset. Now he's a liability. We got to kill him. And they've done that 3 or 4 times in this series, and I don't know what they're trying to say there. They're kind of trying to make the rebellion out to be the bad guys. Because they really lean into these Imperial agents and how they're just trying to protect the Empire and the citizens of the Empire. And, they've got good hearts and they're just trying to do the right thing. It's the rebellion that's the bad guys. They're the ones that kill innocent Imperial citizens and blow stuff up and, stop shipments from, killing babies and you know. So they're making the Empire out to be, or they're making the viewer to be sympathetic with the Empire. But on the other hand, they also do some heinous stuff, and then it like snaps you back to reality. Like, okay, the Empire's pretty bad. It's Nazi Germany. It's not Trump America. It's Nazi Germany. And the people out there saying that there's no aliens in the story, they must not know much about the Star Wars universe. Because all the planets that have been shown so far have been deep in the Empire. I mean, you know, very imperial. And the Empire has always been human. Aliens are outsiders. They're not part of the Empire. You don't see aliens sitting in on imperial meetings or anything like that. Now, on some of these worlds, you do see aliens. They do exist, but they're not part of the main character line. They're not part of the story. This is the Empire resisting, or the resistance within the Empire resisting the Empire. So, of course, you're going to have almost exclusively human characters. So, I appreciate that little detail. But some Star Wars fans are all about equality, equity. They want to see aliens. You know, it doesn't seem right. It's too fascist if it's all humans. Okay, this guy doesn't want to go on this horse. He's like, nope, this horse's butt is not built for me. Let's try that again. Pushing a little bit further forward. Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. So, I'm sorry. I went on this big old commentary about the new series. But it's kind of boring. I'm going to have to admit it. I've been through half the season already, 6 episodes. And it's kind of a snooze fest. One of the guys that did the review that I trust his opinion. He did say it starts off slow and then it becomes really good at the end. The problem is there's a lot of viewers out there that are not going to make it to the end. There's viewers out there that see this snooze fest and they say, I'm done. I don't want to go any further. This is boring. Okay, so we got all the bodies on horses. I'm dreading doing these arms. Because I don't think this glue is going to dry like in 10 seconds. So I have to hold the arm in place long enough for the glue to take hold. Really? Okay, I'm going to count to 10. Okay, maybe 30. Okay, that one's actually held pretty good. But you saw how long it took just to do one horse, one arm. The sword is rolling in my hand. I don't know why. Okay, we'll count to 30. In a pretty good position. I like this position. Ah, I came loose, which is a good thing sometimes because usually you want to let the glue kind of dry a little bit and then stick them together while it's kind of sticky. Yeah, why is that sword rolling in my hand? I need light. Okay, now I'll count again. Now this guy, his helmet horsehair plume is separated from his helmet slightly. I think I'm going to need to go in and put a little putty droplet in there just to fill that gap, I think. Okay, I'm going to lay this guy down because of the way his arm is. Okay. Looking at this epaulet and looking at the pin, I'm not sure how this is supposed to go on. Ah, maybe like that. Okay. Okay, so okay. I really didn't think that was going to stick like it did, but it stuck pretty good. Yeah, I'm not going to want to paint these guys until, the glue dries completely. I might not even want to base them on my popsicle sticks. Okay, are we getting low on glue on this little thing? We might be getting pretty close. Oh, maybe not. So I put glue on one side, then I press the pieces together, pull them apart. So that means they have glue on both sides. I'm gonna blow on them a little bit to kind of get the glue to be a little sticky, ready for prime time. And then I'll stick it together. Apply a little bit of pressure. Using my fingernail. Because I've noticed my fingernail doesn't stick to the super glue like my skin does. Yeah, and doing these cuirassiers is going to give me an opportunity to use that cavalry brown paint that I got in about a month ago. But I usually paint the horses 3 or 4 different colors. Um, Not all the same. I never liked messing around with little fiddly parts that I could easily drop into the carpet. Okay. Yeah, my wife went to the doctor today. I don't know if she also went to work, but I know she had an appointment with the doctor to check on her other knee. She has knee problems, and I could have told her years ago that she was going to develop knee problems because of the way she walks. There's no, she doesn't walk with any kind of ball of the foot. It's always the heel. Heel to toe, heel to toe. And so every time she walks through the house, it's boom, 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 boom. You know, you could just feel the pressure hitting her leg. When I'm walking through the house, you never even hear me coming because I walk on my balls of my feet primarily, and then the heel comes second. And so I have a cushion, a a um, a shock absorber, if you will. She's already had one knee replaced, and now the other knee is hurting. Well, this arm is sagging. Like I put it in place and then it just slowly sags. And that's what I thought all the hands were going to do. Nope, just this one. I had it in the right spot, and then it fizzled away. Wow, that's only half of them. This guy had a deep shoulder socket, so the pin went in there nice and neat. But some of these guys, the molds must be getting really old because they have like no shoulder socket at all. They just have like a little cup. I'm looking for the ones with deep ones. Okay, he's got a deep one. He's got a deep one. Okay. So the deep ones benefit from the arms that have long pegs that I didn't cut off. Also, I got my Game Master book in the hardback um, for Pendragon. It was a pre-order. It finally came in. Still, it came in 2 boxes. It was like a box within a box. And then the book itself is shrink wrapped. So it was very protected. It's also sitting on the table over there. I've already pretty much not not read the entire thing, but I have flipped through it already in PDF form. Because when you order the hardback, or I should say when you pre-order it, you get the PDF. And I got the PDF the same day that I ordered it. So I've already had a chance to kind of look through it. But I haven't had a chance to look through the hardback. And I'm going to assume it's exactly the same as a PDF. But based on what I've looked at so far, there's nothing in the Game Master's book that you can't live without. Everything in that is, it seems like it's optional rules. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken, or it could just be the rules that you're supposed to be using already, but just fully fleshed out. Okay, I bent this guy's sword, gluing his arm on. But I can always bend his sword back straight once everything dries. Yeah, his sword goes. Everybody's arm looks like it's on, except for maybe this guy, my first guy I did. It looks like I might have to put a little putty in there behind his shoulder, but it's on there. And both of these guys don't have sockets. Okay, that'll work. All right. Okay. All right. All right, the last one. Okay, we got glue on both sides. We're blowing. Yep. I could have left it, but it wouldn't have looked right. Okay, now that looks good. Now I'm just going to give it a few seconds of holding it steady, applying a little pressure. Letting go. Letting those guys dry. Okay. Okay. Some of the swords are going to have to be straightened out. That's all right. Yeah, I'm kind of digging the fact that they all have their swords kind of in a different place. Some are holding them up. Some of them are holding them out, like straight out to the side. These two. Some are holding them up and over like they're in the charge. And some are holding it down close to the horse's head. That's kind of a good thing. It's going to be a little bit of a variety of poses. Getting 3 figures on a base might be challenging, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. And I'm going to have to do a little research before I start putting them on their popsicle sticks, Because what I'll do is I'll put a base worth of figures on one popsicle stick. So like 3 horses. One of the sticks is going to have the standard, the officer, and the bugler. But what I'm needing to research is I've noticed some of them have the side plume and some don't. So is that the status of like an elite company? Or is it a specific regiment? Or is it like dress uniform versus a campaign dress? I need to figure that out. Ah, hopefully I didn't mess with their arms. Didn't look like it. It looks like they're good. Okay. This Gorilla Glue says 100% tough. Impact tough. Okay, that's good. I don't care about that. I do, but I don't. Protect work area. Press surface together for 10 to 45 seconds. Don't feed it to your children. Skin irritant. What I'm looking for is when does it dry? It says it's pressed together for 10 to 45 seconds, but I don't see anywhere on here that says wait an hour, 24 hours, dries after 15 days. I actually had a glue, I think it was Mod Podge, that said give it 5 to 7 days to fully dry. And I was like, what? It was one of the specific Mod Podges. Okay, let me go outside and get my primed town sectors that we're going to work with. Beautiful day outside. Okay, I think I'm not going to work with anything. To be honest, I think I'm going to end the stream and get something to eat. On the cork, I decided to prime them black instead of brush priming. I used a spray primer. There's still an odor coming off of these guys. So that means they're not done yet. I primed these guys black. It's the fence. But I'm going to paint them brown. These walls, I think I'm going to paint like a light gray to a grayish brown color, but mostly gray. That's the courtyard for a stone wall. That's done with cork. on a plywood base, 4x4. I did 2 of them. And I got the wooden gate in there. I don't know. The focus doesn't look like it's. Maybe it's these glasses I'm wearing. I'm wearing these magnifying glasses. Let me get some real glasses on. See if you guys can see that. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's focused enough. But yeah, I got this little open wooden door there. I did that on both of them. And these fences or walls are only 10 millimeters tall. You know, and this is an N scale fence, and you can see how distressed it looks. It's not like it's not a nice picket fence. This is just a fence. But the way it came out, I had to actually put it in from the edge because there just wasn't enough fence pieces, or they weren't the right length. They were done in millimeters and not inches, but it still wouldn't go to 100 millimeters. Yeah, so there's like a little lip around the from the fence to the edge. That's okay. I'll put grass and everything else on that, and it won't affect anything because a battalion can still fit inside this just as easy as it can this. I put the paint on the cork pretty heavy because after one coat, I noticed the cork kind of absorbed, it soaked in the primer. So I ran over it a second time with primer. I'm looking for the wall. I think that's it right there. That I used the ballpoint pen on. And unfortunately, you really can't tell that there's any bricks laid. I mean, you can see there's a couple of lines. It's very subtle. So going forward, if I ever want to make a brick wall, I'll just do it with paper. I'll put some paper strips on there, or I'll use printed paper with bricks printed on it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put these over on the table because they stink. They're going to stink up the house. It's all right, though. All right, so that's the end of the stream. I tried to fill the dead air with commentary, but it wasn't always about painting. It was about Star Wars, actually. But I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with me. I noticed that there are quite a few of you coming and going. I appreciate that. Because it says right now, I'm just looking at the information. It says I got 21 views. 21 views means that 21 people came to the stream, watched, and they might have left. You know, they might have stayed, they might have watched a little while, and they decided it wasn't for them, or they got bored, or they had to go back to work or something, and they left. Well, concurrent views, I'm showing this off, or talking about it, it says there's never been more than 3 at any, that's not true. The average, it should say average concurrent views, because it does spike at some times, but it also drops at some times. At some times there was only 1 viewer. And then at other times there was like 4 viewers. And they're saying that based on the amount of views, or I should say the amount of time spent there might be 3 viewers is the norm or the concurrency. Um, but I'll tell you right now, a lot of these historical related videos, I usually don't get live uh, views. I usually get follow-up views. Like people will watch this tomorrow night or whatever, or because they might not have the time or the schedule to watch it live, so they have to come back later. A lot like me watching the Plastic Crack podcast. It comes on in the middle of the afternoon on a Monday. You know, a lot of times I'm busy doing something at that time. But I love watching them, so I'll come back in and I'll watch them later. You know, and hear what they have to say later. I just won't get a chance to put anything in the chat or interact with them or whatever. But I've been noticing that I'm getting a ton of views on my channel when it comes to the Skyrim playthrough. I'm getting 3 times, no, 20 times the concurrent views and a bunch, well, I don't know if it's views or people come and then they stay. Let's just say that. So if I get 60 people to watch my video, I'll have a concurrent view count of about 60, which means they come and stay. They don't come and leave and then come back or go off and do something else. So I'm getting more engagement chat-wise with my Skyrim. People will comment to me. They'll ask me what I'm doing or what kind of quest I'm on or what kind of armor I'm wearing. Or some people are actually saying, hey, I'd like to see your character in third person or whatever, you know. But basically there's comments. In the historicals, sometimes there's comments, sometimes there's days where people log in and they chat me up, and then there's other days like today, not one comment. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go because I'm starting to get a little hungry. I had a early breakfast. It was like 5 o'clock. So, and now it's 1 o'clock, so I'm like really hungry. And I don't want to eat too late because that'll ruin my dinner. You know what I mean? But I will be on tonight at around 1-ish if you want to watch me play some Skyrim. I might jump on Skyrim in this afternoon. Like after lunch, I might jump on Skyrim because I'm still waiting for that to dry. I don't want to paint and then have it soak in. I want it to sit. Yeah, I might put that back outside because it is really nasty smelling. These guys, I still have to put them on their popsicle sticks, and then I'll brush prime them. And what we'll do is we'll probably start working on these cuirassiers in earnest tomorrow. They'll have been popsicle sticked. I'll have done my research on what the hell the plume versus the non-plume is, and then they'll be primed and ready to go tomorrow. So I look forward to that tomorrow, guys, on a Thursday. So today's Wednesday, and next Thursday I'm going to be playing Pendragon. We start at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Now, I haven't discussed this with my players, and I'm going to put it in Discord, which we have a Discord, by the way. I'm going to put it in the Discord, seeing what their feelings are about it. But I want to stream it so that you guys can watch. But if nobody wants, or if everybody's shy, or nobody wants me to stream it, or hell, if one person doesn't want me to stream it, then I'm not going to stream it. So, yeah. Also, remember, I got these new kits in. You know, I'll show them to you. Well, they're new to me, and I think they're new in general. These are medieval kits. I just got them in. I'm going to do a what's in the box on all of these. And I'm also going to do a build it and paint it. Okay, this is a standard fortified wall section. So it would be this part right here. Modular wall section for castle or city wall construction. And it looks like there's place figures behind. Okay, so it looks like figures can go up there. This looks like, what is this? Increase height further by adding more levels not supplied in this kit. Okay, so it looks like it's 2 levels with the crenellation on the top. So it'll look like this. That's pretty cool. Tabletop workshop. Medieval 28 millimeter. Okay. Got that package in. Got that box in, I should say. And then I got the smaller one right here. This is more of a bag type for connecting a square castle tower to wall or wall gate. Oh, okay. So it's got like a little connector piece right here. I wonder if you can build this without a connector. This kit contains 1 square castle connector set used to connect our square castle tower to either a wall or wall gate. The plastic bag is opened. But yeah, that detail looks really good. But I'll have to do an unboxing or an unbagging of that, and we'll see if I can build it without that. Because if it's something that can just glue onto it, you know, like you're just gluing it on, then now that door, yeah, that door looks like it's halfway up. So you're always going to get that door. And these walls have holes in them, so that's probably a holy wall. I'm just guessing. And then this kit is big. This is a giant kit. Tabletop workshop. A 12 millimeter square fortified tower. The watchtower kit can become a modular castle tower by adding square tower connectors purchased separately. This kit includes 1 square tower, compatible with other castle items available from our range. Okay, so they're saying I could add connector walls to this. See, like that's a door that's separate that can just glue on the side, I would think. Oh, that's on the inside. Got stairs on the inside. I don't think that's definitely not the top. Oh, it could be the top, and that could be the bottom part of the stairs going down into the castle. We'll figure it out. I'll do an open boxing on all those. Those are supplied to me by Tabletop Workshop so that I could specifically do a video on them. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. Do I need these for anything? Role-playing? Miniature wargaming? Not really. Why? Because I pretty much have adjusted to 15 millimeter personally. But if I was still doing my 28 millimeter like Agincourt or or even Warhammer Fantasy. Ooh, I could use these for my oath mark. I don't know. Maybe I will keep these. Okay, I don't know. But not right now. Yeah, let me take this back outside because of the stench. Yeah, and there's something else that I wanted to say about my static grass. I love Spring Meadow. I think Spring Meadow is the best color for my static grass. I like it on the figures. And I ordered Meadow, which is not Spring Meadow. It's just Meadow, which is kind of a darker green. I like the lighter green look. And when I looked the first time, I did not see short fiber spring meadow. I only saw short fiber meadow. And I looked again today because I was wondering where I got my short fiber spring meadow. I was like, where did I get this? What company? And I looked, and it is the same company. It's Knock. They do make a spring meadow short fiber, 1.5 millimeters. And I'm upset with myself because I didn't order the spring meadow. Luckily, I only ordered one pack, which is like $4. Next time, I mean, I don't need it. I just wanted it, right? So the next time I place an order, I'll have to remember to order more spring meadow. All right, guys, that's it. I've talked long enough. You guys take care, and I will see you tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock, or tonight around 1 a.m. if you're interested in some Skyrim. And possibly, maybe after lunch, I'll do some Skyrim as well. Because I'm kind of still waiting for everything to kind of dry before I really put any more effort into that stuff. All right, and we have a sale. I think today might be the last day of the sale. It's order $30 of product and get 30% off at my eBay store. And you also get free shipping if it's over $50. So take a look at that while it lasts, because today's the last day of the sale. And I'll catch you in the next one. You guys take care.
Battles unfold on the tabletop plane. Strategies drawn in the heat of the game. Figures align in the miniature frame. Victory whispers through the thunderous rain. Each move a dance in a silent ballet. Clash of minds in a tactical fray. Through painted lands where armies convey the thrill of conquest at the break of day. Miniature worlds where stories are told. Warriors clash as the battles unfold. In the heart of the game, courage takes hold. Realm of strategy, daring and bold.
battles unfold on a crafted stage. Figures move in a strategic cage. Miniature worlds where stories are told. Tactics and plans in the fields of old. Fighties can clash, or the gears still all won't reach fits it. 50 millimeters bring life to the fight. Armies clash under soft table light. Each roll of the dice decides their fate. Victory or loss in this scale day.